Okay, really quick. I read on somebody else in the comments of something. There was somebody talking about how the 717 that they're talking about here is actually, it deals with 239 because 239 times 3 equals 717, and it really does. So you can check that out for yourself. Pretty interesting. Also, I remember in the crane destruction or crash or whatever that happened here on September 11th. At one point, all the articles said that there was 239 injured, so just another 239. So makes you wonder. So they literally, they had the 923 thing, and nothing really happened on 923. But when you go back and you look at all the stories that have been in the news, everything, pretty much everything, there's a ton of stories that have been coded with 239, 923, whatever. So, since it is the 239th year of the United States, makes me wonder if that's just the code for the whole entire year. They're just literally coding that to whatever. But there's so many things that added up to 923. Even Pope Francis, the day that he came to America was his 923rd day as Pope. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. It was just really weird that it all coded up to that. But I really think it was just all about Pope Francis's visit. And he's still here for how many days? So, until the 27th. So, who knows, though? I mean, or maybe we're just missing something, or maybe it's because so many people started talking about it, so they didn't do anything, Who knows? But I want to point out also this Saudi Arabia thing with 717. It's in Mina, Saudi Arabia is where it happened. They were leaving Mecca on the pilgrimage to Mina, or however you say it. But the gematria of Mina, my mouse thing will work here, my trackpad. Very interesting. Mina, Saudi Arabia adds up to 123. Just like how I talked about in the previous part of this video, how Aaron from the Bible died at the age of 123 on 7/17, the day that the movie Trainwreck came out. Now, I don't know why I erased that a second ago, but Mina, Saudi Arabia, and Pythagorean gematria equals 60. I was putting an A in there for some reason, but 60, I'll just pull it up here. 60 has been super coded lately. You even had, like, Moses Malone died at the age of 60. Malone equals 60. The Santiago, Chile equals 60. The big earthquake, whatever. Jack Sock lost to Reuben, who's 60. Talked about Lincoln, Nebraska. Abraham Lincoln, 60. Even the movie Trainwreck, like I said, was 69 days before September 24th when the Stampede thing happened, and that is 69 days away. But the movie Trainwreck also made its debut on South by Southwest on March 15th, and March 15th to 9/24 is 6 months and 9 days, so the 69 again. And if you add up the word 69, it's 139. I know it's a lot to take in, but it really all goes back to it. And 139 is September 13th, 9/13. I talked about it with Kanye West and all kinds of stuff, Queen Elizabeth, whatever. But it's also the same day that Moses Malone died. And it's the first day of Rosh Hashanah. And Rosh equals 60, Hashanah equals 60. I mean, what are the odds of all this? The most powerful earthquake ever recorded was in 1960. There's just so much. They've been doing this falling theme in the news. The Braves fan was 60. Turner Field, where he fell, is 60. The tribe of Levi with Moses equals 60. I mean, Moses died in Pisgah, at the top of Pisgah. 60. I mean, tons of stuff. The Delta State shooter. I mean, just, wow. That's all I can say. Pope Benedict even equals 60. So, moral of the story, I only use 2 different forms of gematria, and every story that I've looked at in the last 2 weeks, like just keyword, the keyword or whatever always has 60 in it. It's really interesting. So anyway, I said I was going to make this short. I guess I lied. I'm sorry, but it reminded me of Prince Charles too. So the thing that got me was his wife, Princess Diana, from previous videos. But it says he married her in 1981, 34 years ago. 34 is been super coded like Civil War, Abe Lincoln, also Moses, freeing the slaves. They both freed the slaves, but his ex-wife or whatever, who died, Princess Diana, she was born, she was born on 7/1, it's like 71. I even see that she was born in something to do with Norfolk. And who knows, I'm not going to mention it that much. I know I've seen it like 5 times. I didn't write any of it down until when I seen this, it made me think, oh, wow. So there must be something to do with Norfolk. But because Moses Malone even died in Norfolk, Virginia. But anyway, moral of the story, she was born on 7/1, and then after whatever, he got divorced and she died, he remarried Camilla Parker Bowles, or however you say it, sorry. And she was born on 7/17. I mean, she just turned 68 years old. So, I mean, really, his first wife born on 7/1, his second wife born on 7/17. I mean, that seems pretty strange to me. Interesting, too, Princess Diana in Gematria and Pythagorean adds up to 60. If you do Queen Camilla, because I'm telling you, I've been talking about how I think the Queen is going to die. Queen Camilla is 50, and also 113. We've been seeing this number a ton of times. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, like just all over the place. 113, but also 50. I've been seeing a lot with the 60. Kansas, like Chiefs, is 50. I can't even remember them all. I know I put them in a different video, but I didn't write them down. But 50, it's been all over the place. Her real name is Camilla Shand. Camilla Shand is 97. And also, that 43 we've been seeing a lot. And interesting about that is the word 60 is also 97. So, who knows? Also, just the other day, you had Milo Hamilton died. And he's the one who called Hank Aaron's record-breaking home run or whatever. Hank Aaron hit 715. I'm surprised it's not 717. It's pretty crazy. But just pointing that out, and I talked about how he was the announcer, the kind of like Aaron from the Bible or whatever. He's the one who spoke for Moses, whatever. But there was another guy who died on 7/17, who was also announcer for the Buffalo Bills. So this guy was the announcer for the Buffalo Bills, and he died on July 17th, 7/17 of this year. And let's see here. I talked about the Buffalo Bills and how Richie Incognito plays for the Buffalo Bills now, and how the bullying scandal all tied into this year. So if you go back and watch previous videos, but it even mentions that he was he announced for them from 1960 to 1971, the 60 and the 71. It says that he announced for 43 years. And that's pretty interesting because his name in Gematria, of course, is 106. Number we've all around the Philadelphia Trainwreck and whatnot, and 43. So his name adds up to 43, and he also coached or announced for 43 years. And it says, with the exception of a 7-season hiatus from 1971 to 77, when the Bills were being carried on rival station, blah, 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 Miller was covering the Braves, the Buffalo Braves. Well, that's interesting because 1971 to 1977, let's go take a look at Moses Malone again. Moses Malone was actually playing with the Buffalo Braves when this guy announced, 1976. So that guy was the announcer for games that Moses Malone would have played. And now this guy dies, and the Milo Hamilton guy dies. It's just pretty interesting stuff. Also says, after retirement and death, whatever, Miller was an avid tennis player and often paired with Jack Ramsey. Who knows, could be a play on like Ramses the Pharaoh or whatever, however you say it, from the Bible. So, even born on the 52nd day of the year, died at the age of 89, talked about all that with Queen Elizabeth. Even born in Philadelphia. There's a lot of Philadelphia foreshadowing. And then his famous last words, not this guy, but this guy, his famous last words before he died, and I guess he must have said it all the time in his signature words, Fandemonium. If you do that in Gematria, of course, it's 52. I'd also just want to point this out again. So, Richie Incognito's first game back to Miami since the bullying scandal, because he plays for the Buffalo Bills now, just so happens to be on the same day that Pope Francis is in Philadelphia, 9/27. And there's been a bunch of articles about it as well, so just pretty interesting. Also, here's the other another Norfolk I was talking about. I wanted to mention the USS Enterprise. I think it was like the 7th one that they've called this. Anyway, it was the world's first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier. So, just find that interesting. I've talked about the nuclear power plants. 239 all has to do with plutonium-239 that they made in the Manhattan Project, which was actually called 49. It all deals with Back to the Future and whatnot. Mentioned it multiple times. So, anyway, just super crazy, you know. It's the first nuclear-powered whatever. And it launched. The reason I even brought it up was because it actually was launched on September 24th of 1960. And like I said, in the past few weeks, I've noticed 60 so much it's not even funny. But it even talks about Enterprise's home port was Naval Station Norfolk, Virginia. That's where Moses Malone even died, as of September 2012. The original home port was Naval Air Station Alameda until close to I can't even read. Until close to its closure in 1997. She was visible to those crossing the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge. I mean, just who knows? Why they even write some of that stuff in there? It's beyond me. I guess just a few more things. Might as well run out the time here. 60 Minutes. It also began on September 24th. So another 60 kind of reference. 60 Minutes. It came out on September 24th of 1968. But yeah, I'm gonna need to do a little more research into some things and whatnot. But just gonna leave it at that, I guess. It doesn't look like it's actually gonna flood in Fort Calhoun. Who knows? Maybe it's gonna start raining tomorrow night. It was just a thought because I had talked about it, and then I noticed the big flood in Council Bluffs. But it literally never rained here at all. So it rained like off and on but not a significant amount. So pretty much you can probably disregard my last video unless it just starts downpouring like crazy tomorrow night or something. But yeah, just like I said, wanted to document it. So anyway, have a good night.